Shalom everyone, it's Rabbi Finkelstein, it's Kol Torah, and Tuesday at 11 this time and not 12. And we're going to discuss Parashat Ekev this week. In this parasha, again, Moshe is giving a review of many of the events that took place and many mitzvot and some really educational messages that Moshe would like to convey to the Jewish people. But one of the things that this parasha is very unique about is really the centrality of the land of Israel in this parsha. And there is a verse that I would like to discuss with all of you today. It says, Ki haaretz asher ata vashama lerishta, that the land which you come to possess it. Lo ke'eretz Mitzrayim asher yetzatem misham. It's not like Egypt. Asher tizra et zar'echa v'ishkita beraglecha kegan hayarak. That you will plant it and you basically will rely on the Nile River. In Israel, it's going to be different. הארץ אשר אתם עוברים שם לרשתה, the land that you're going to enter and to possess. It's ארץ ערים ובקעות, it's a land with mountains and valleys. למטר השמיים תשתה מים. That you will be dependent on rain in order to be able to grow things in your fields, in order to have trees flourishing and booming and blooming. And I would like to discuss this verse. It seems to be that the Torah tried to compare Israel and Egypt. And one of the ways to compare Israel and Egypt, it's the prosperity. And it's about what will be there, what can you grow there, how successful you will become. And we know that when we talk about agriculture, one of the most crucial components of agriculture is water, rain, or any other sources of water, in order to water the fields and the plants so things can grow. In Egypt, they have a Nile River. It's always there. There is water. They can rely on the water. They can plan. In Israel, it's different. In Israel, everything depends on water. And we know, as we say in Shema, twice a day, V'haya im shamoa tishmeu, if you would listen to my commandments, if you will hearken to my voice, says Hashem, I will give you metar artzecha beito, I will give you the rain in its right time, in its right season. And it will be a blessing to the country and to the land. But if not, im lo tishmeu, if you shall not listen, God forbid, can take away the water from us. And basically prevent us from having any success in the agriculture realm. So my question is now, very simple. I would rather to have the Nile River. I would rather have a main source of water that I know I can rely on. And not to be rely on rain that sometimes comes and sometimes not. Sometimes it's too hard, sometimes it's too slow, sometimes it's too heavy, sometimes it's too light. It's something that it's very hard to rely on. So why God says that one of the praises of the land of Israel, one of the things that we need to be so proud of and we need to look forward to is the dependency on rain. If I will compare Egypt to Israel, I would say it's better to have the Nile River rather than to be dependent on something that it's not in my control. So I would like to understand, where is the praise? Why it is so good for us that we depend on rain? Let's digress. And let's go back in time to the time of creation. As we know, God created the world in 6 days, and on the 6th day He created Adam and Eve. And then we know that Adam and Eve were commanded that they can eat from every tree they want, from every fruit they want. But there is one tree. They can't eat from it. And Adam and Eve went on their journey, and we know the story. The serpent convinced Eve to eat from the fruit. She gave it to Adam, and then God came and had to deal with them. He asked Adam, why did you do it? He says, Eve told me. He went to Chava, Eve, and she said, the serpent told me, and then he stopped, and then he says, okay, we are going to have some consequences. Adam, you're going to toil the land. You're going to work very hard in order to have something grow. Bezeat apecha tuchal lachem. With the sweat of your body, you will eat bread. Chava, you're going to suffer through delivering a baby. And you, serpent, you get out of here. You go, you're going to crawl on the land. You can find food everywhere you go, but you're going to crawl on the earth, and you will just be out of here. And I want to ask a very simple question. It seems to be that it's not fair. Adam needs to work very hard in order to get his bread and to get his food. Chava needs to work very hard to be a mother. The serpent, seems to be he got it easy. He lost his legs according to the Midrash. He's going to crawl on the ground. It's not probably the pleasant thing to do, but he can find food everywhere. He does not need to work too hard to get food. So where is the punishment? Where is the punishment for the serpent? I would like to suggest the following idea. The serpent received the most severe punishment. Hashem told him, you know what? From now on, just crawl on the dust. You can find food everywhere you want. Whatever you wish to eat, you can eat. But me, Hashem, and you have nothing in common anymore. You can go, you can do whatever you want. Don't come to me. With Adam and Eve, it was exactly the opposite. Adam now needs to work very hard in order to produce. Chava needs to work very hard in order to have babies. When there is a need, there is a connection to God. When there is a lack, a feeling of lacking, you address God to help you. What God created after the sin, He created even a greater need. And when there is a need, there is a connection, there is an aspiration, there is a want, a desire to come closer to Hashem. And that's what God accomplished with Adam and Eve. After the sin, Adam and Eve felt embarrassed. How can they have relationship with God? It's terrifying. How can I come and ask God for things when I violated His only and one commandment? I feel terrible. I feel ashamed. I feel embarrassed. I feel I have no face to come and ask God for something. So God, in His mercy, created a need and basically created an opportunity for Adam and Chava to reconnect to Hashem. Now let's go back to our question. Egypt is blessed. They have so much water. They can do whatever they want with water. Iraq, Iran, Libya, everyone has so much oil. They can do whatever they want. You know what Israel needs to do? You know what the Jews need to do? They need to work hard. They need to put a lot of efforts to transform the mountains to a source of prosperity, the desert to a blooming place. And they need to work hard and to ask for connection with Hashem. Harder we work, better our relationship with God. God created the need, so we will reconnect to Hashem. Yes, we don't have everything just right there in front of our eyes. We need to discover, we need to dig, we need to explore. And we know, as people, more efforts we put, better the results are. And this is the message of this comparison between Egypt and Israel. Yes, you're not going to find everything just easy. You're going to work hard. But there is going to be a reward. First reward is the connection to Hashem. And the second one is the efforts that we put. We feel more connected to the land, to the ground, to the dust, to the stones, to the rocks. The land of Israel is something that we acquire and we received at the same time. Thank you.